Hi everybody, I'm Lights Camera Jackson. Today is Sunday, August 12, 2018. Welcome to an all-new episode of LCJ Live. Coming up, talking about the Ninja Turtles, plus a brand new Betty White documentary, some big movies opening up this week. I've already seen one of them, and much more. We'll also answer your questions and comments, so please send them on in, and we'll get to the box office. But first, got some interesting breaking news details. Of course, you've heard over the past couple of days the rumors that Idris Elba could really be the next James Bond. This news resurfaced, I believe, on Friday. Idris Elba himself has now entered the conversation. 8 hours ago, he tweeted, "My name's Elba, Idris Elba." And then 3 hours ago, he did write, "Don't believe the hype." This was on his Twitter account. So again, Idris Elba says, don't believe the hype. He has denied this in the past, that he would become the next James Bond. Daniel Craig is 50 years old. He's filming Bond 25 fairly soon. They're getting production underway. Idris Elba is 45. So by the time Idris Elba would become the next James Bond, he'd kind of be the age Daniel Craig was when making Skyfall, Spectre, and now this 25th James Bond movie. Maybe the James Bond people would want to go for somebody younger. I just don't know if Idris Elba is going to end up being the next James Bond. But there you go. Idris Elba himself has mentioned it now on his Twitter account. Hey, weekend box office time. The Meg. My goodness, much more than anybody anticipated. $44.5 million for The Meg. That is impressive. That is an absolute win for Warner Brothers. They should be very happy with this. It's a shark attack movie, and coming out after Shark Week late in the summer, needed something for 20, 30-year-olds to go to, along with families, kids, going to this movie, even though it's PG-13 and there are some intense moments, even though I believe it's a tame movie. Warner Brothers got the families to come in. So congrats to them on $44.5 million. I just didn't really care for the movie. I think it's a bore. It is tame. It is restrained. Jason Statham and director John Turteltaub complained about this while promoting this movie last week, saying, "We wish the film was bloodier, gorier, was more scary than it was, and more guilty pleasure fun. I only felt that a couple of times during the entire movie." But nevertheless, The Meg, with $44.5 million in more than 4,000 theaters, including a heck of a lot of drive-ins around the country this weekend. Mission Impossible in second with another $20 million, and Disney's Christopher Robin dropping about half of its money in third with $12.4 million. Some other new movies that opened up this past weekend came in fourth and fifth place at the box office. The horror movie Slender Man with $11.3 million. Considering The Meg got so much money, 11.3 is actually not bad for a horror movie in August. And then Spike Lee's new movie called Black Klansman with $10.8 million. That is very strong, considering it was in fewer theaters than The Meg. Only 1,500 theaters, but still at a very strong per-screen average. I like Black Klansman. I think it's a good film. I think Spike Lee is on point with most of the commentary. Sometimes he goes a little far with what he's trying to say, with comparing things that happened 40 years ago to today. But John David Washington is really the star of this movie, Denzel's son, and he gives a breakthrough performance in this film. He is fantastic. He's going to be on everybody's radar right now. A lot of people were saying the other day, why don't the Oscars have a breakthrough performance category instead of this new most popular film category? If they did have a breakthrough performance category this year, John David Washington would definitely be nominated for his work in Black Klansman. Also, Adam Driver is great, and Topher Grace. It's a good cast. It's a very unique story, one that keeps you interested for all 2 hours and 15 minutes of it. And it's a very important film with some of the commentary. So if you haven't seen Black Klansman, I do recommend you go see it in theaters. If you're a Spike Lee fan and you haven't seen Black Klansman, what are you waiting for? A lot of people, a lot of film historians, movie buffs have said this is a return to form for Spike Lee. So you gotta go see Black Klansman. In sixth place, The Spy Who Dumped Me, followed by Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again, which has now crossed the $100 million mark. I still don't think it is going to get nearly close to the $144 million that the first Mamma Mia did back in 2008. Maybe it can get to 115, 120 if it hustles a little bit. The Equalizer 2 in 8th place, it's up to about 90 million. The first Equalizer made 100. I think it's going to be kind of close again as well if the Equalizer can match what the 2014 original film did. Hotel Transylvania and Ant-Man round out your top 10. Incredibles dropped to 11th, and one of the week's other new movies called Dog Days, a family romance comedy about dog families, kind of like those Gary Marshall movies with all the different stories coming together, opened in 12th place, made $2.6 million Friday to Sunday. It actually opened on Wednesday with a total of $3.7 million. That's not great at all. This film is going to fade fast from theaters. So yeah, Dog Days in 12th. I did not see Dog Days, didn't care to see it, but opening in 12th. Send in your questions, send in your comments. What did you see over the weekend? Did you happen to see Crazy Rich Asians on Wednesday? I did. Warner Brothers held nationwide advanced screenings of Crazy Rich Asians on Wednesday night in about 350 theaters around the country. And most of the showings, according to Warner Brothers, sold out. The showing I attended was very crowded, making around $500,000 total with all those showings. Theaters having to add more showings at the last minute to accompany everybody. This is a good film, and I think it's going to make a lot of money when it opens up on Wednesday. It stars Constance Wu from ABC's Fresh Off the Boat. Ken Jeong is in it. Nico Santos from TV Superstore. It's got a good cast. And it treats the Asian culture and the heritage with such honor and respect. This is from director John M. Chu, who's done some of the Step Up movies and Now You See Me Too. And it's based on the very popular romance novel. And it works. The lushness of it all, the music, the costumes, but also the sophistication of these romances. This is not a crazy, outrageous movie like the title may suggest. This is a down-to-earth, relatable romance story, and it works. So go see Crazy Rich Asians. I've got my complete review and my rapid review up at lights-camera-jackson.com. Again, it opens up on Wednesday, and Warner Brothers, hot off the presses with The Meg, winning the weekend with $44.5 million, should now expect another big 5-day open for Crazy Rich Asians. Maybe that'll total $30 million or more as one of the big surprises of the summer movie season. What's up at MKDI1? Thanks for joining us here on LCJ Live. Crazy Rich Asians does have a bit of competition next weekend with two big movies. Sony has a film called Alpha. This is about the man meeting the wolf. Man's best friend film. Probably going to have a lot of action, maybe not a lot of dialogue. Alpha's trying to attract families, even though this is also a PG-13 movie. I know Sony's doing some screenings over the weekend in select markets where they're doing them on Saturday morning, or they did them yesterday, and they're going to do some more during the week. And they're going to try to attract families, even though this could be a fairly violent movie. Also going to be a fairly violent movie, rated R, Mile 22, the latest collaboration between Mark Wahlberg and director Peter Berg. This is their fourth collaboration. They did Lone Survivor, which I liked, Deepwater Horizon, which I really didn't care for, and Patriots Day, which I thought was a good film, very overlooked a couple years ago through the awards season. Now they've got Mile 22. I've got a blog up at lights-camera-jackson.com about several other big director-actor collaborations in Hollywood lately, including Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan, Tom Hanks and Steven Spielberg, David O. Russell and Jennifer Lawrence, several big collaborations making a whole lot of money at the box office. So we'll see Mile 22 can win the weekend. It's from STX, a smaller studio. Don't know if it's going to get the kind of big play that Lone Survivor got from Universal several years ago. We'll have to see what happens, who wins the weekend. I think it's up for grabs, depending on how far The Meg falls. How big Crazy Rich Asians can do just on Friday through Sunday, and these other two movies, considering it's later on in the summer. I think the number one spot is completely up for grabs next weekend, so we'll see what happens. Hey, I got my Ninja Turtle friend here, right out here now. The Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is coming to Nickelodeon in about a month, but you can watch the first episode online right now on Nickelodeon's YouTube channel. I had the chance to. I got a blog piece up in the blog section at lights-camera-jackson.com. Really thought this first episode of Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the new hand-drawn Ninja Turtles action comedy series coming to Nickelodeon, thought it was really well done. It is a fun show. The dialogue between the turtles is great, and the action works. So check out Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Again, piece up there at lights-camera-jackson.com. And I did watch last night the brand new Betty White documentary that's premiering on PBS next Tuesday, August 21st at 8 o'clock on PBS. It's called Betty White, First Lady of Television. And what it does is it takes footage that PBS has shot, interviews they've shot with her and some of her friends over the past 10 years, and compiles it together in this 55-minute documentary, stretched out to an hour and a half because it's PBS. This 55-minute documentary, it goes through her career and her life, her career in television and in some important movies. What's interesting about this film is it starts out with some of the newer stuff. It starts out with that Snickers commercial and her guest hosting SNL. Then it kind of goes back in time and then moves forward. It does cover the Mary Tyler Moore Show, the Golden Girls, Hot in Cleveland, some behind-the-scenes stuff on that I found interesting, along with her love and devotion to husband Alan Ludden, may he rest in peace, and animals. So it covers it all, and her early days in television, starting out being a real female pioneer. When there weren't a lot of women in the key roles on TV, Betty White was there to kind of pave the way for everybody else. So it is a good documentary. It's nice, it's sweet, and it does give you some insight, especially with her agents and her executive assistant. Definitely some interesting information from them on Betty White's life and career, how SNL was really not an easy week for Betty White, as it turned out, even though she won an Emmy and did so many great things based on that SNL, recatapulting her career again. It was not an easy week for her. So definitely some insights there. Betty White, First Lady of Television. I'm going to have my review of it tomorrow in the blog section and on the homepage at lights-camera-jackson.com. On the website, you can watch my rapid reviews of some of the big new movies that have opened up. Black Klansman, Crazy Rich Asians opening up this Wednesday, and Christopher Robin, and many more. Again, in the blog section and in the movie reviews and the video reviews section at lights-camera-jackson.com, along with the Meg, too. Yeah, I really did not care for the Meg, but yet again, I'm stressing, it's the #1 movie in America, $44.5 million. Does it mean the Meg 2 happens? Maybe it does, but after the fact that Jason Statham and John Turteltaub, the director, have come out and said we weren't really happy with this final cut, maybe that's not going to happen then. We'll have to see. So next week here on LCJ Live, we'll see how Mile 22, Crazy Rich Asians, and Alpha did at the box office. We'll also preview what I think is going to be one of the big surprises of the summer, potentially, in big money makers, which is the Happy Time Murders, the Melissa McCarthy R-rated puppet movie. And if you do happen to be in New York and LA this weekend, on Friday, Glenn Close's new drama, The Wife, is opening up in select theaters and then is expanding to various other markets over the next 5 or 6 weeks. Glenn Close, I believe, has been nominated 6 times for an Academy Award and has never won. The folks who saw this movie last year at certain film festivals thought she was amazing in this movie and could very well be in the Best Actress conversation. So if you have the chance to see The Wife, please do check it out. See if Glenn Close is as good as others are saying she is. And we'll see how that does with its limited open at the box office back here next Sunday at noon Eastern for another new episode of LCJ Live. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next Sunday. I'm Lights Camera Jackson. Enjoy your week at the movies. And thanks for watching LCJ Live.